Welcome to New York's number 2 sports show. The Rangers defeat the New Jersey Devils 3-1 in a game where I thought the Rangers played pretty well. They actually had a shutout until about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. And last game, of course, Igor had a shutout. This game, Quick was in and almost had it. So they almost basically had 2 full games of not allowing goal. They did allow one late, but they're able to get the job done. And really the big game is tomorrow against Carolina. That's, Rangers are up 4 points on them, same amount of games played. That's a really, really big game for the division. If the Rangers can somehow win that one, let's say regulation, and go up by 6 points with 17 games left and no more games versus Carolina, not a bad place to be. So the result of tomorrow's game will potentially go a long way in seeing who wins this division. And it's not going to be easy. The fact that the Rangers played tonight, against the Devils, and now have to play tomorrow. The good thing is Igor will be more well-rested, and you're going to need a big game from Igor. But tonight, a little bit of everything. Matt Rempe was actually given a game misconduct, an elbowing penalty late in the second. And before that, he was actually playing well again. He was involved, a major part of the Rangers' second goal. But Rempe would elbow Jonas Siegenthaler, and it was the right call. It was a 5-minute major, and it was correctly assessed. So Rempe, with him, he really has to calm down. I like how he's playing legitimately. I thought last game was the best game he's played. I thought in this game he really was effective. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's suspended. I think that he'll be suspended a few games. Not sure. I think it'll be more than one, somewhere in the 2 to 4 range. Maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3. But I think that he will, just as a way to kind of calm the situation down a bit. And I thought that the last level game, it was a little unfair. The Bastion one, like that one, I defended him. This one, there's no defense for it. And again, he's just a little out of control at times. But, these are things that are very correctable. So I don't suspect, you hope that it's not something that always follows him, because if it does, that is problematic. Like in a playoff series, a penalty like that could shift everything, not just the game, but the series. Luckily, in this case, the Rangers penalty kill did a great job. The PK has been so good of late. And they did a great job in the beginning of the third period, killing off, what could have changed the game if the Devils had scored a goal there, but it didn't happen. So Jacob Trouba out again, of course, and I'll say it again, like somewhat addition by subtraction. And I thought that the Miller-Schneider pair was again solid. Zach Jones played pretty well. Didn't play that many minutes, 12:54, but he was involved in that second Ranger goal. And what also needs to be accounted for is Erik Gustafsson moving over to the right side. Like, that's not the easiest thing to do. He's been, on the left side with Schneider, move over to the right, and it's kind of been somewhat seamless. And he scores what was actually the game-winning goal in the game. Also, Mika Zibanejad, the streak is over. He went 30 games without a goal 5-on-5, and he finally got it tonight. And I think he's been a little bit better lately. I thought tonight he had some jump. He had 7 shots on goal. And sometimes that happens. I thought he was really strong, and I do think the addition of Roslovic on that line helps just a little bit. But Mika deserves credit for that. So it had been since December 23rd. And, really nice goal for Mika. So, yeah, a little bit of everything. Rangers, I thought Alexis Lafreniere was all over the ice. He's been snake bitten this year, where he had a beautiful pass to Artemi Panarin, who scored, however, in the first period, but Vincent Trocheck was offside. So, nothing you can really do about that. But, Devils goaltending was good. Kakkonen was in there for the Devils, so I thought it was going to be Jake Allen, but apparently there's visa issues that he's going through, so he's not available yet. But another new goaltender, Kaapo Kakkonen, was really strong for New Jersey and really kept them in it. Also, the Rangers are now 3-0 versus the Devils this year. One more game against them at MSG on April 3rd. So, last season, the way it ended was not good. It was bitter. It ended in Gerard Gallant losing his job, but the Rangers have responded this year by, again, winning 3 of 3 versus New Jersey. And the Devils, they're not going to make the playoffs this year. It's not happening for them. And that's a surprise to me. I really felt like this was a team that was going to contend. And that simply does not happen. I know there's been injuries, but still, there's just a lack of fight in that team. And, Lindy Ruff was fired recently, and Travis Green's your interim head coach. But yeah, just not a team that I see winning a whole lot of games down the stretch. Not because of the roster. Like the forward group is still pretty strong. Defensively, it's not great, but they just can't really do a whole lot. So let's talk about this one. First period, Devils took a penalty early. At 1:32, Erik Haula trips Jack Roslovic, but the Ranger power play doesn't score. So the power play tonight doesn't really get it done. They go 0 for 4. And the power play, they scored 3 power play goals the last game, but, wasn't meant to be in this one. So the Devils kill it off. And I'm trying to think of the timing of the Panarin no goal, but I'll bring it up again, even though I think it might have happened after the penalties I'm about to discuss. Actually, let's talk about the penalties first. Kakko high sticks Hughes at the 10-minute mark. Not a great penalty by Kakko, just a little bit careless with his stick, but the Ranger PK does a good job. Alexander Holtz slashes Zibanejad at 12:32, and the Rangers power play does not score there. And yeah, at one point in the first period, Panarin seemed to have scored a goal. And what sucks too is that, it's a rare game when Panarin actually doesn't end up with a point. And it was a great pass by Lafreniere, but Trocheck did go offside. And I was a little bit concerned about that in real time. And sure enough, they challenge at the Devils, and it's a successful challenge. So it's no score end of 1, where the Rangers probably deserved a better fate after their pretty strong first period. Second period rolls around, and we get some penalties. Former Ranger Brendan Smith trips Erik Gustafsson at 4:40, but 30 seconds into the power play, Adam Fox interferes with Curtis Lazar. So it's 4-on-4 for a bit. No scoring comes from that. But at 12:25, Mika Zibanejad, like I said, gets off the schneid. It's his 20th goal of the season from Chris Kreider. And what happens here is Zach Jones flips the puck into the Devil zone. And Roslovic, with some pretty good pressure on Siegenthaler, causes the turnover. It ends up on the stick of Curtis Lazar, who loses it. Kreider gets it behind the net, finds Zibanejad, and Zibanejad makes a nice little move around John Marino and scores on a backhand past Kokkonen. So, nice goal all around. Good effort by the team. Gives Rangers a 1-0 lead. Then at 16:02, Lafreniere is called for boarding Luke Hughes. This is a pretty bad call. Not sure what they saw there, but the Rangers PK does the job. And then at 19:08, really big goal, Erik Gustafsson scores his 6th goal of the season from Jones and Vesey. So what happens here is Rempe actually takes the faceoff, wins it with help from Vesey. And then Rempe does a nice job rimming it around the boards, goes to Jones, and then Gustafsson from deep out on the right side takes a shot, and Rempe provides a great screen. I mean, there's no way that Kokkonen could see it, and it's Gustafsson's goal. So, and also credit to Barclay Goodrow, I thought had a good game again. I thought he played well last game. I thought today, too, was pretty solid, especially on the PK. But it's Gustafsson's goal, and everything's looking great in terms of Matt Rempe, providing, again, effective minutes. But however, 22 seconds after that, Rempe with a reckless elbow against Siegenthaler. And as I saw it happen, I'm thinking, this isn't going to be good. And sure enough, the replay showed he's got to keep the elbow down. He just has to. And so Curtis McDermott was also assessed a 10-minute misconduct. McDermott was basically acquired for the reason of, I'm going to say it, for the reason of fighting Matt Rempe. And I guess in general, the Devils could use some level of toughness, but McDermott, who was trying to, have a go at it with Rempe all night, Rempe didn't want to drop the gloves, and I don't blame him for that. But then here, Rempe, he's going to be suspended for it, I would think. I'd be surprised if he's not. And the Rangers have to kill off a 5-minute power play. And they're able to do so. And the Devils only got 1 shot on goal. Most of this was in the third period, but a great job by the Rangers. That was really important. At 11:52, Haula takes another penalty. He interferes with Artemi Panarin. But the Ranger power play doesn't score. And they kind of kept the Devils in the game. And then the Devils kind of got some things going with about 5-6 minutes left. And at the 7:26 mark, they cut the lead to 1. Simone Nemec scores his 3rd goal of the season from Hughes and Hischier. And I'm not sure if Quick totally saw it. He might have been screened. And so the shutout goes away. It makes it 2-1. The Devils pull the goalie, and the Rangers score an empty net goal, and it's Vincent Trocheck with his 24th goal of the season unassisted. So Rangers win this one 3-1. It's a nice win. They played well. They've been playing pretty well. I mean, the 2 games post-deadline have been good. And now it's going to be Rangers versus Carolina. So as far as Rempe likely being out of the lineup, I would think he would be. You would assume Brodzinski slides in. Can we rule out Adam Edstrom maybe being in the lineup? I guess we can't, but it's very likely to be Brodzinski. It's one thing for Rempe to be over him, but to then, unless they're really looking for size specifically, would guess that it's going to be Brodzinski that comes in for Rempe. And then on the defensive side, I think they probably stick with what they have. I mean, is there a chance that Ruedel will replace Jones? I guess, but probably not. I think Jones has done well enough, even though, look, the opponent in Carolina, it does worry me a little bit. Carolina, a little bit more of a heavier team. And so in a game like that with Jones, it does concern me slightly, but I think to be fair, you got to leave him in there. And, Igor will be behind the net, will be in the net for the Rangers. So Rangers 42-18-4, Carolina 39-19-6. This won't be easy. Rangers are 9-1 in the second game of back-to-back, so they've been good at it. And I hope the Rangers can kind of, no pun intended, weather the storm. Kind of weather the first period storm and, keep it close and find a way. But this is a big, big game. It's really the biggest game of the season. It's their last meeting with Carolina. And let's not forget, the last time they played Carolina, they really, really gave the Rangers a nice whooping. Carolina won 6-1 on January 2nd. So, that kind of was the beginning of a really bad malaise where January was a bad month for the Rangers, really, really bad. And it started out with that Carolina game. So a lot on the line here, a lot to be excited about, much more than tonight's game. But it was a good result for the Rangers. They beat the Devils 3-1.